So hello guys, today I'll be starting NPSC 2016 mains paper 2 part 1 guru aje moi part 1 question marks 126 marks kone guru. I've been a little bit busy, so I was unable to produce the videos, so let's get the video started. So I will be completing part 1 for 126 marks from 2 marks, 5 marks, 5 marks, 10 marks and 20 marks. So in the second video I'll be covering Nagaland portion for mains, so watch out for the next video. So in basic mains GS2 2016, question number 1, what is nota? Nota means none of the above, and it enables a voters to officially register a vote of rejection for all candidates who are contesting in elections. And if a voter has chosen nota, it indicates that the voter has not chosen to vote for any political party, and was this was introduced in 2013 following the 2013 Supreme Court directive on the People's Union for Civil Liberty versus the Union of India judgment. So none of the above is used in election in which there are many in which suppose there are two person contesting for a constituency, then the third option will be nota, and the nota stands for none of the above. So this was started in 2013 following the People's Union for Civil Liberties versus the Union of India judgment, and it means none of the above. So for 2 marks you can write these points. Next, why is India a secular state? So India is a secular state. So the Constitution of India provides for secular state under Article 25 to 28. And why India is a secular state? Because we can write 2 points, that is India has no state religion, that is India has no definite religion, and that the government neither encourages nor discourages any religion, and people are free to choose and practice their own religion, and government treats all people, all religion with equal respect, and under Article 25 to 28 of the Constitution guarantees the freedom of religion. So we can write 2 points, that is India has no state religion and the government neither encourages nor discourages any religion. And if you can add the points, you can write that under Article 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution, it provides for freedom of religion. So for 2 marks you can write this. Next, why special provisions have been provided in the Indian Constitution for the northeastern states? For we know that Nagaland, we have Article 371A. This is a special provision under the Indian Constitution for the state of Nagaland. So like this, there are 12 states that enjoy special provisions. Then and it is included in Part 21 and 22 of the Constitution, and Article 371A to J deals with it. So the reason behind the special provision is, first, to meet the aspirations, needs and aspirations of the backward section of the state. So various states in India has various issues, various local issues pertaining to it. For example, Nagaland has a special condition because of the Indo-Naga political situation. So to meet the aspirations of this, the Article 371A has been included, and it also has been included to protect the culture and economic interest, and to deal with local challenges, many challenges that are not faced by the majority of the Indians are faced in those states, and to protect the customary law. For example, in Nagaland, so we have various customary laws. So in order to protect and safeguard this, the special provisions have been provided. Next, can both the houses of the Indian Parliament be dissolved? So we know that only the Lok Sabha can be dissolved. Rajya Sabha, which is not a which is a permanent body, cannot be dissolved, because after every 1/3 of the year, every 1/3 of the year, a new member is changed in Rajya Sabha, and dissolution ends the very life of the existing house, and new house is considered after general election is being held. Only the president has the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha prematurely. So if the question is asking, can both the houses of the Indian Parliament be dissolved? So we can write that only the Rajya Sabha is not subject to dissolution, Lok Sabha is subject to dissolution. So for this we can for 2 marks you can write these points. Next, what is tenure system in Indian administration? Tenure, what is meant by tenure? Tenure means serving in a particular department for a term. So Tenure system is the system of filling senior posts in the central secretariat by officers who come from the state for a particular period, and after service for a particular tenure they revert back to the parent service. It gives state officers rich national experience. It promotes administrative unity and working of federal polity of India and coordination between the center and state. So what is tenure system? Tenure system is, suppose in Nagaland they are IAS and they are working as district deputy commissioner or additional deputy commissioner, or SDO. So when they are called to the central secretariat, they serve as secretary or additional secretary or joint secretary or special secretary, like this. So the system of serving in the central secretariat by these state officers for a particular period is also known as the tenure system. However, this is not permanent. They will return back to the state in which they were allocated the cadre. So this is called tenure system, and it is done to provide rich national experience, administrative unity, and coordination between the center and the state. So it is a type of federalism, a federal policy. Next, mention some of the elements of administrative ethics which are ingrained in various civil service. So various ethics that are ingrained in civil service are maintaining integrity, means knowing what is right and following what is right, devotion to duty, doing our duty with the utmost sincerity, maintaining high standard and honesty, ethical standard, that is no nonsense, and political neutrality, not favoring any political party. So for this you can write 4 points or 2 marks. Next, what is Indian Standard Time? So Indian Standard Time is the time that is observed throughout India, and it is an time offset of 5 plus 5 hours 30 minutes from the Greenwich Mean Time, and it is calculated on the basis of 82 degree 30 minutes longitude from Mirzapur, Uttar Pradesh. So the basis of Indian Standard Time is that our globe has been divided into many time zones. So the middle of the time zone is called the Greenwich Mean Time, and and the time measured from the Greenwich Mean Time is known as the Indian Standard Time. So for Indian Standard Time, the longitude that is passing through the earth passes through Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh, and that is through this that time is calculated for all over India. So for India the time is 5 hours 30 minutes plus. That is, next, what is inclusive development index? So inclusive development index is the annual economic index introduced by the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum is used to produce this inclusive development index, and it ranks countries' economic performance in 3 pillars, that is growth and development, inclusion, that is if the development is reaching to all people, and intergenerational equity and sustainability. That is, what is intergenerational equity is that difference in economic conditions between 2 generations, that is if your grandfather and you, so between you, if the economic development is same or different, that is if your grandfather is poor but you are rich, then there is a difference in intergenerational equity. So the inclusive development index is used to measure growth and development, inclusion of all people, and intergenerational equity. So next question, point out the different point out the locations of dry forest in India. So the dry forest in India is 58,300 square kilometer and extends to Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Orissa, Jharkhand in the north, and it extends to the western where a dry western range shadow of the eastern Ghats in India. So if we take the look at the map of India, so this is the map of India, the southern part of India. So the dry forest covers Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Jharkhand, the mineral rich states, and and it also lies within the eastern Ghats near the western rain shadow of the Eastern Ghats in the south. So it covers an area of 58,300 square kilometer. So this is the dry forest area. Next, what is GST? GST stands for Goods and Service Tax, and it is an indirect tax imposed in India on the supply of goods and services, and it is a comprehensive multi-stage destination-based tax, and this came into effect on June 1, 2017 through the implementation of the 101 Amendment of the Constitution of India. So what is GST? So in simple terms, GST means Goods and Service Tax. Suppose a producer is producing a good and he is selling it to the wholesaler, and the wholesaler is passing on to the consumers. So the the tax that is inculcated at each levels of production, that is from producer to wholesaler to consumer, tax are added on to each stage. So um, this process of collection of tax from one point to another point is known as the goods and service tax, and this is an improved version of the value added tax, and it replaced the value added tax on 1st of July 2017 through the implementation of the 101 Constitution Amendment of the Constitution of India, and it simplified the taxation system in India. Next, what is Operation Clean Money? Clean money means uh, the opposite of black money. So the Income Tax Department launched the Operation Clean Money on 31st of January 2017. It is launched to leverage technology for e-verification of cash deposits made during the demonetization period. So during the demonetization period, verification of cash deposits is known as Operation Clean Money, and it is used to investigate tax evaders. What is FRBM? Fiscal response. The FRBM is also known as Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act, and it came into effect in 2003, and its functions are to institutionalize financial discipline, improve macroeconomic management and overall management of public fund by moving towards balanced budget and strengthening fiscal prudence and reducing fiscal deficit. So due to the mounting of India's fiscal deficit, the Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act was passed in 2003, and for Nagaland it was passed in 2005. So this was done to bring financial discipline into the fiscal policy of India, and to reduce our fiscal deficit. So next, what is Good Samaritan policy? It was launched by the Delhi government, and it is used to give bystanders incentive to help accidents and victims, and more importantly provide them with legal protection. So if you help a person who has met an accident, then the Delhi government will reward you with 2000 and a certificate to uh, for helping people, and it is used to encourage people to take accident victim in emergency. So next, what is Bachpan Bajao Andolan? So this already came in 2015 for 5 marks. So for 2 marks, you can write that in short that it was launched by Kailash Satyarthi in 1980, and it focused on ending bonded labor, child labor, and human trafficking, as well as the right to children. And it was started by Kailash Satyarthi. And Bachpan Bajao Andolan, if we convert to English, it is also known as Safe Childhood Movement. Next, what is honor killing? Honor killing means if a family member kills a member of his own family in the belief that the person has brought shame to the clan or the family name, is also known as honor killing. That is killing one own family name for the sake of reputation is called honor killing, and it is punishable under section 302 of IPC, Indian Penal Code. Next, what is deep ecology? So this deep ecology was coined by Norwegian philosopher Arne Næss, and it said that human beings are a part of the global ecosystem. That is, it is not special, but it is just a part of the many components of a global ecosystem, and it promotes the inherent worth of all living things. Do you think that the practice of triple talaq, polygamy among the Muslims, need to be supervised by courts? as this falls under legislative domain. So triple talaq triple talaq is is to be supervised by the court because it destroys the fundamental rights of Muslim woman in India. So what is triple talaq? Triple talaq is a um, practice in which if a Muslim man wants to divorce his wife, then he can simply do so by speaking talaq three times. So if he speaks talaq 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 three times, then it stands divorce. So it is very unconstitutional, and it violates the fundamental rights of the Muslim woman, and it also brings injustice, and it does not provide gender equality under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, and it also denies human rights to Muslim women in India. So what is smoke? Smoke is a type of air pollution that is a combination of both smoke and fog, and it results from large amount of coal burning in an area. And there are two types of smoke: classical smoke, the smoke that we see in the uh, that we see in India, in especially in Delhi, that is due to humid climate, and it's a mixture of smoke, fog, and SO2, and photochemical smoke that occurs in warm, dry, sunny climate. So next, for 5 marks, what was Sarkar Commission point out the significance of its recommendation in strengthening India's federal polity? So for 5, it is explained the 5 marks, but I'll explain you in 10 marks because Sarkar Commission is very important. And let me tell you this: Sarkar Commission was started in 1983 under the chairmanship of R.S. Sarkaria to review the question of center-state relations. So basically, it was constituted to review the center-state relation and changes within the framework of Indian Constitution in terms of federalism. And this commission submitted the report in 1987. Remember, 1983 it started the commission. In 1987 it submitted the report by the Rajiv Gandhi government, and the recommendation was it helped in the setting up of the interstate council. So the Sarkar Commission provided for the establishment of an interstate council, and this interstate council was established only through the Article 263, and it was established in 1990. So the interstate council was established because of the Sarkar Commission to review the working of the center and the state. And this interstate council was very important because it inquires and advice to the president in case of interstate disputes, and discuss matters concerning two or more states having a common interest, and make recommendation upon any subjects. And some of the recommendation is that the president's rule power should be used as a last resort, and Sarkar Commission recommended setting up of more civil service organization and strengthening the existing ones to serve the nation. And it also recommended that residual power should be provided with the center as it is. And president using the veto power, it must tell the state the reason for behind the decision, and also while appointing the governor of a state, he should consult the chief minister of the concerned state, and the total revenue collected by the union government should be shared between the states. And the term of the governor is 5 years, and this should not be ended unless the reason is very viable. And a state minister should not be investigated by a commission unless demanded by the parliament. So if a minister is accused of some uh, accused of some crimes, and he should not be investigated by a commission unless the parliament approves it. And the head of the linguistic minority should be made more active. Next, what is zero-based budgeting? So zero-based budgeting is a simple term, is starting everything afresh. For example, for 2011, the MNREGA, that is Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Act, allocation was 200 crores. So in the next financial year in 2012, it was 400 crore. So the zero-based budgeting is that starting everything afresh. That is, the balance is 200 crores. So we will calculate how much was spent from 200 crore. That is, if out of 200 crore only 190 was spent, and 10 crores was kept. So the starting balance should be 410 crores, like that. So um, it it is a simple concept that provides that everything should be start afresh. So next, the zero-based budgeting is a term in which is a method of budgeting in which all expenses for each new period should be justified. That is, providing justification for the expenditure of the budget, and under it, a reference should be made or considered of the previous year. The budget request has to be evaluated throughout with its commencement from zero base. That is, for example, if the budget is starting from 200 now, so the next year, if the budget is allocated for 400 crore, so we will see how much the money was allocated, and from there, and from that money alone, the amount required is to be allocated, so as to reduce the so as to reduce the money wastages. So the zero-based budgeting was initiated by the Department of Science and Technology in 1983, and in 1986 it was adopted in the Indian annual budget, and the government has made it mandatory to review its programs and expenditure and prepare the estimation. And not much progress has made so far. And how to implement a zero-based budgeting in Indian administration. So the question is asking how zero-based budgeting is implemented in Indian administration. First, identifying the decision unit. So for example, MNREGA, I'm taking the example of MNREGA. So the if the zero-based budgeting is initiated in this scheme, so we'll identify the implementing body of the MNREGA. So the department that is implementing this is Ministry of Rural and Development. So for each department is considered as a decision unit, and the basic criteria should be that it is capable of carrying out different programs and activities to achieve one objective. So MNREGA is used for upliftment of poverty by providing employment. So the Ministry of Rural Development is identified and analyzed each decision. So each decision taken by the rural development is analyzed, and whereas wastages, costs, and benefits programs are evaluated, and evaluating each unit of the decision unit. So even within the RD department, there are various allocation like building of water supply, building of waiting sheds, etc. So we need to see which program prioritizes one over the other. NRLM also comes, that is National Rural Employment Scheme, also comes under the MNREGA. So we will identify which is more important, which needs more attention. That is evaluating and ranking each decision unit to allow proper allocation of resources to manage wastages, and prepare the detailed operating budget reflecting reflecting those decision packages. And by analyzing each and every unit of the department, we can prepare an budget basing on this so as to reduce losses. Next, write a short note on the Kerala model of planning. So the Kerala model of planning is a planning that is chartered by the Kerala government, and its main focus was on education, health, land reforms, effective food distribution, and poverty alleviation. And we can see that despite Kerala having a relatively low per capita income, it has achieved the highest literacy rate, long life expectancy, low infant and female mortality rate, low birth rate, and high access to medical care. So this was initiated between 1987 and 1991, and the government of Kerala also launched a new democratic initiative which provides for total literacy, especially in science and the environment, and it also made people directly involved with decision making through voluntary citizen organization. So this was the steps taken by the Kerala model planning, which helped in overall development of Kerala as one of the most developed state of India. Next, what led to the central government to adopt the new economic policy of 1991? So the new economic policy was introduced in India because of mounting crisis, uh, and this was aimed at market oriented. The economy was more market oriented, liberal, with inland efforts by approaching private and foreign sectors to go for liberalization, privatization, and globalization to make India presence felt in the global scenario. And the reason for 1991 reforms, India was under very excess fiscal deficit, and the fiscal deficit kept mounting from 8.5% to 8.5% of the total budget, and Also because of balance of payment. So balance of payment is the statement that records all the monetary transaction between the residents of a country with the rest of the world, and the balance of payment was very imbalanced between India and the foreign countries, and it mounted from 2000 crores. It mounted from 2000 crores to 17,000 crores in 1991, and price rise due to inflation, and inflation was increased from 6.7% to 16.7%, also due to reduction in foreign exchange reserve. By 1991, the foreign exchange reserves were reduced to only 2,400 crores to make payment for 3 weeks, and it was so serious that the Chandrasekhar government, which was one of the government that collapsed, tried to sell off gold reserves to pay off the interest of foreign aids. Because of India's economic policy before 1991, that is a closed economy, India was suffering, and due to also the Gulf War taking place between the Iran and Iraq, which increased the cost of petrol, oil, and poor performance of public sector. The public sector were um, under very pitiable condition because the government was managing all the affairs of the public sector. Next, what is India's negotiating policy in international climate change politics? So while India continues to emphasize on poverty alleviation and economic development, India is also taking considerable steps to encourage more constructive global climate talks. And but India has rejected that they will not reduce the greenhouse gas on the grounds that it will jeopardize the national poverty alleviation program. And what are the various negotiating position is that India has promised to reduce emission intensity by 33 to 35% by 2030, additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide by 2030, and enhancing investment and development programs in vulnerable sector to climate change. And India is also a member of the International Solar Alliance, which is a total country of 121 countries in near the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. And this was initiated to reduce India's dependence on other sources of electricity and to promote solar energy. Next, briefly point out the main recommendation of the DS Kotari Commission. So DS Kotari Commission was submitted its report and was considered in 1976, and it submitted the recommendation of the recruitment policy of UPSC. And the general recommendation is that we already know because the system has been followed till now that the for recruitment of IAS, IPS, IFS, and all other allied services, the exam should be held in two examinations, that is prelims and mains, and age limit should be from 21 to 26. And for for reserve SC ST, the the time has been extended from 5 to 3 for 5 years for SC and ST, and only two attempts is available for general, and the restriction is removed from doctors and engineers. And this means that all doctors and engineers can also apply can also write the UPSC Civil Service examination, and the preliminary marks should be 150 marks. Preliminary for GS is 150 and optional for 300 marks, and candidates has to choose 22 optionals out of he has to choose optionals from 22 subjects, and the mains should be for language plus English for qualifying, and interview is for 250 marks by 5 to 6 words of UPSC simultaneously. So if we look at the today's recruitment policy, it is the policy that is followed by the DS Kotari Commission, which was initiated in 1976, and it came into effect in 1978. That since 1978, the Indian government has been following this method for recruitment of people to the civil services. Next, comment and debate on the reservation of private sector. So advantages of reservation in private sector is that it gives representation to backward people. Backward people are deprived of higher class education, so reservation is required, and government jobs are not enough, so uh, people need jobs, so private sector can give job reservation to them, and many private sector gets government aid so and other benefits, so why not provision for quota in jobs? So many private sector provide jobs, so this uh, next Next is economic backwardness of the Dalits will make help helpless will make them helpless to acquire new skills. So due to the difference in educational skills, the backward people will not be able to compete with other people, and in metro cities hiring rate of SC and ST is very less due to lack of technical skills and English speaking abilities. So reservation could provide them equal representation. So what are the disadvantages of reservation in private sector is that reservation that private sector runs on talent and ability, and this will be compromised. Private sector is a profit making motive enterprise, and it is less concerned with the representation of different castes, and it will create a huge rift between general and reserved people, and reservation has not yielded the desired results and may result in backfiring to the country, and private sector will lose its competitiveness, and as of now private sectors are somehow controlling the unemployment scenario. If reservation is provided, it will explode, and if the reserved people are not able to provide direct results, then why a private firm will bear the brunt of hiring incapable staff? So these are the advantages and disadvantages of reservation and private sector. Next, discuss how a new variant of human rights movement in the rise of LGBT have gained ground in India. So LGBT stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual. So it is a mixed bag of progressive and regressive reforms. Once a conservative issue, the debate on homosexuality has gone mainstream. So before it was just a closed issue. However, it has now become mainstream. So the most regressive act is Article 377, which is an IPC act which criminalizes homosexuality, and it was introduced in 1861 during the British rule. It says that whoever voluntarily has carnal intercourse against the order of nature should be punished with imprisonment for life up to 10 years or fine or both. But however, the present society of in the world and in India has progressed so much so that many people are beginning to accept the LGBT community as a third gender. So this was first challenged by NAS Foundation and AIDS Beta Virod Andolan in Delhi High Court in 2001. From 2009 High Court uh, and 2009 Delhi High Court decriminalized sex between the consenting adults of same gender, holding it violation against Article 14, that is equality, 15 in terms of gender, and 21 right to life of Indian Constitution. In 2013, the Supreme Court has overturned the case and found that the legally unsustainable, that is Article 377 as legally unsustainable, and in 2014 it declared the government to declare transgender as a third gender and include them in OBC quota. And by 2018, the Apex Court announced that consensual gay sex is not a crime in Article 14, and did not contradict the present view of action after Section 377. That is, Section 377 is violated of Article 14 and 21, and it declared 377 as unconstitutional. And points to be noted is that for a long time, LGBT community and younger generation has felt that the present law on homosexuality, that present law and on present law on homosexuality and scientific and political reasoning is not good, that it criminalizes the sexual choice of the individual. A person should not be discriminated. Secondly, there is a misconception about sexual orientation by the public. Same-sex orientation is a natural sexual behavior, and modernity requires progress. With liberal thoughts and conservatism is very much dangerous for society. People should start to accept changes and should be able to accommodate all the changes in starting at an individual level and a larger spectrum. So with this we come to the end of the first part of NPSC 2016 mains. Next video I'll be uploading another Nagaland portion. I hope you all like the video. Please like and subscribe.